Hey spice lovers, welcome back to another video. Last year I shared this cheesecake recipe and you guys seemed to like it because it got a number of views and some positive comments too. So when I saw this pumpkin cheesecake recipe on Benjamin the Baker, I knew I had to try it out for myself because one, it's pumpkin, and two, it looked so good. Here are the ingredients that you're going to need. I did make a few tiny modifications. I started out by crushing the digestive cookies, then I melted the butter and mixed them together to make the crust. By the way, I'm trying to post more consistently and your support means everything to me. So if you enjoy my content and you want to see more, please like, subscribe and click the notification bell. Thank you so much. Here is where I made the first mistake. I used a springform pan when he used one without a removable bottom. I oiled and lined the pan before pressing the mixture into the sides and bottom. Next, I creamed the cheese, brown sugar and spices together, and here is where I made the second mistake. I kept using the mixer past this point as I added the pumpkin puree, eggs and heavy cream, and this created lots of bubbles, as you are going to see. After mixing, I put the crust pan in a bigger pan and then I poured in the batter. Then I boiled some water and poured it into the bigger pan, and I did notice a few bubbles escape in the bigger pan but didn't realize it meant water was seeping into the crust. Anyway, I baked in the oven and here's what it looked like after, and you can see all the trap bubbles on top. As it cooled to room temperature, I creamed some cheese, butter and powdered sugar to make the cream cheese frosting. I then realized that I forgot to add the vanilla, so I added it in and mixed it. Here you can see the water got into the crust, but at this point I didn't think it did a lot of damage, so I went ahead to frost and decorate the cake with the leftover biscuit and butter mixture, or you can say the leftover crust. And this was the result. It did look good on top, but not great from the side, and it was a bit difficult to pick up a slice because of the parchment paper, and the water made it too soft and a bit runny. The layers were not well defined. It also tasted bland. Long story short, I messed up and was determined to give this recipe a fair chance, so I remade it. I started out by making the crust again, crushing the digestive cookies, melting the butter, mixing them together to make the crust. But this time I went out and bought the right pan and I oiled it, but I didn't line it with parchment paper. Then I went ahead and pressed the crust into the bottom and the sides. Also, after mixing the cream cheese, brown sugar and spices, I opted to use a spatula to gently mix in the pumpkin puree, the eggs, and the heavy cream. And it paid off. As you will see, the batter was so smooth and consistent without any bubbles. I'm just going ahead to show you what it looked like here. Then I went ahead and poured it into the pan, and I poured boiling water into the bigger pan and I baked it for 80 minutes. Here's how it looked when I took it out. You can see it looks more pleasant. Anyway, I let it cool and made the frosting. When it was at room temperature, I used a spoon to remove the excess crust. That's what I'm doing here. Then I used a knife to loosen up the sides of the cake. And then I sprinkled some sugar to prevent it from sticking. And then I flipped it. And I used a lighter to heat the bottom of the pan for some minutes, after which it came off easily. Then I tried flipping it back and part of the crust broke. Yeah, of course, something always goes wrong. Well, not always, but enough times to irritate me. I ended up calling my brother to help me flip it. after which I used the excess crust from earlier to patch the broken parts. Anyway, this is what it looked like after I decorated it, and you can see that the layers looked so much better this time. I have to say that this recipe was pretty good because the cake was so creamy and moist and a little spicy. Please feel free to check out the original creators channel, link in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.